We're live.
Hello, hello, hello. We're live, you guys. We are live. We are live. We are live. And I am excited. This is a different type of coffee chat today, ladies and gentlemen, who's ever watching. This is a different type of coffee chat. This is a special edition of Coffee Chat today with Miss Venus. Hey, Venus girl.
Hey, Bill.
Hello. We're live, you guys. We are live. We are live. We are live. Okay, so listen. When I say that this is a special edition of the Coffee Chat today, usually you have Miss Venus that comes on and she's running the show, but she has been so lovely and wonderful to pass the torch over to me just for tonight, you guys. She'll be right back at you. I know we all love us some Venus. She's our bookie, as she says. But we are, first of all, I want to say, I can't see, who's on. I can't see who's on right now. But what I do want to say is thank you all, everyone who have joined in so far, who will be joining in. Those of you that will catch the replay, welcome, 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 welcome to this special edition of Coffee Chat with Miss Venus, Miss Coach Venus. Today, we are going to be just pumping it up. We have some great things in store for you. Let me start by telling you who I am. My name is Tamara Johnson. Tam Johnson, just call me T. I am your marriage advocate. I am your healthy, okay, let's be clear, healthy marriage advocate. I am an author. I wrote the book, The Marriage Policies and Procedures, and I also wrote Life After the D. D standing for divorce, but it's not about me tonight. I want to go ahead and highlight why we are here tonight on this special edition of the Coffee Chat. So tonight we are going to be assisting Miss Venus, Coach Venus, with launching her new anthology, best-selling anthology called Silence No More. You guys, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful cover, okay? It speaks volumes to what the title of this book is. Silence No More. My story, my truth. We all know what silent means. It means to just be quiet. It means to say nothing. It means shh, right? It means hush. We know what our parents used to tell us, just hush, be quiet, and sometimes they'd even say, shut up, right? We may say, that's a little rude, but hey, it is what it is. Whatever needs to be said to get you to quiet your mouth is sometimes what will happen. And so in this book, this anthology, there are 13 women who stepped up to the plate and said, you know what? I don't want to be silent anymore. And that's where the name of the title of this book came from. Not being silent anymore, telling their story and telling their truth. And so as I went through the book and read some of the stories, oh my God, my heart was really touched. But one thing that I do want to start with is the dedication. And then I'm going to kind of phase into talking to our ladies, but I'm going to do this really quick so that you have the foundation of, you have the why to the what, right? So she's dedicating this book to the women who suffered trauma and have decided to stand up, speak out and speak up, and to those who are still silent and haven't told their stories just yet. That's one thing I wanted to highlight. This is who she's talking to. And if you are a woman who have had some type of, suffered some type of trauma and you're ready to stand up, this is for you. This is to encourage you. She also have a part in this dedication that says this book is also dedicated to my mother. Now my heart went out on this part and I was like, oh my, because let me read it. Let me read it. It says this book is also dedicated to my mother, Terry Chandler, who died with her silence. She was not able to stand up and speak out. She died in silence and with a broken heart. And I can only imagine that this is one of the reasons, if not the main reason, why Coach Venus decided to do this anthology and have other women come alongside her and go through this, because you know what? Not on my watch. Like, if I have the ability to help someone come out of that and not die in silence and not die with those stories, so that we can help those that are still here with us today, then that is what she was doing. And so, Venus, my heart goes out to you. I say thank you for saying yes to this call. It's not an easy call. You know, I'm certain that the 13 women that told their truths in this, I know it wasn't an easy task for them to write about their story. And you said your mission is getting free while telling your story, right? So there's 13 truths. And before we go into these 13 truths, or we just start to kind of hover over them, I want us to understand, to the viewers, that these ladies are saying they are silent no more. They have chose tonight to put their mask on because there was a time and point where they didn't say anything. They couldn't say anything. They were afraid. They were scared. They were nervous. They were threatened, right? But tonight, ladies, you're silent no more. Unmask yourself. Yes, that's powerful. That's powerful. That is powerful. I'm just honored to be able to sit here with all of you ladies and to be able to speak. I want to speak life right now before we even get started. You will not go back to being silent, huh? Because what happens is sometimes we get into a place where we step out and then that fear comes threefold harder, right? And we backpedal. But I want to speak to you and say you will not be silent anymore. So Coach Venus, question for you. Give me your why. Why did you choose, and when did you choose to begin to write this anthology?
Well, you actually said a little bit of it. Now, my why is because of my mother. And it goes back to when I wrote my first book, A Silent Scream, My Story, My Truth. And when I wrote that book, I'm telling you, I was terrified. I was terrified to tell my story. I was so afraid of what people would think, how they would feel. And I forgot all about me. But I knew that the book had to be written because I knew that there was other people, other women out there who had to understand that their stories have to be told. And they have to be told because, you know, every woman here who have survived, we are assigned. Or there's women who is assigned to us. There may even be men who is assigned to us, right? There are people who is assigned to us. And if we did not stand up, speak out, and tell our story, what happens is that people die on our watch. They die on our watch is what happens. And when that became very clear to me, I was like, oh no, I don't want nobody dying on my watch. I just don't want that happening, right? And so then God gave me an assignment and he said 100 voices. So when we started this mission, it's a 100 voice mission. And the reason why is because I figure 100 voices, each one of those 100 voices know 100 people. And each one of those 100 people know 100 people. Right? And so I figure like if we can spread this message like wildfire, that we won't be silent anymore, honey. We're gonna scream it to the rooftop that you do not get to victimize me or any other person who walked the face of this earth. You will be exposed. You will be exposed. If you are one who victimize people, whether it comes to sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, all of that, you will be exposed. And that's a fact. And I feel like that, you know, it takes more than just me. I can't do it myself. I need help. I need help, right? We are strength in numbers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned that 100 voices, because I was definitely going to ask you why 100 voices, because there's so many, so like 100 is just a salt grain of how many voices are out there that have been silenced as a result of, like I said earlier, you know, just fear, not knowing who to talk to, who to trust. And I know that you are a trauma advocate and coach. And so it's so important for us to know that that's a real thing. There's people out here that's advocating to help you get free and to remove the mask from yourself. But I want to ask you a question. Do you really think that 100 voices, do you think that's doing us any justice with just 100 voices? And I know you say 100 knows 100, and then that 100 knows 100, but what are you doing? What is your strategy to get those first 100? So now you have the 13. What is your strategy of getting those 13 to share this story so that it can begin to grow and evolve into that 100 and then the next 100?
Well, let me just start by saying this. My mom checked out of this world when she was 47 years old because she just had a broken heart, lacked hope, and there was nobody to speak up for her, not even me, because I didn't know how, right?
Yeah.
And so I can remember the day my mother took her last breath. She started crying, and I do believe that she started crying because she just gave up. She just gave up.
Yeah.
There was nobody to speak up for her, right? So when you say is 100 voices enough, let me tell you, one voice is enough. One voice, it's not enough. Let me change that. It's not enough, but it's a start, because one voice is better than no voices at all. Okay.
Yeah.
And then let me tell you, just by my one voice, by me speaking up, there are 13 women, 12 other women who decided I'm speaking up too.
Nice.
That's not even to mention the women that I coach on a daily basis, not to mention that the number of women that's in my inboxes that call me, and so one voice is better than no voices at all. So
love it.
One voice did just this. Can you imagine? I don't look on a small scale of anything. I look on a greater scale. On a greater scale, right? It's huge. I already know it's going to go global.
Yeah.
Because my whole goal, listen, this is another thing too. All profits from this book with my name on the cover don't go in my pocket. It goes to my not-for-profit. Okay.
Nice.
And that's to help build the transitional house so that I can help women on a much larger scale.
Absolutely. That's so amazing. And that is so, it's so necessary and needed for us to give back and to pour into others, right? It's not just about me as the individual. Absolutely. I like what you said. One voice is enough. And you're absolutely right, because it starts with you, right? And then it begins to build and grow. But what I want to do is, before we go any further, because we just claimed that these women, these ladies are silent no more. I just want the ladies to say, my name is, and I am silent no more. I don't want us to step over each other. I don't want us to, and you can, it doesn't matter, but I want every woman on this call, on this live, this Zoom, and even to the viewers. If you are a viewer who have been silent as a result of some type of trauma, some things that have occurred in your life as a child or as an adult, I want you to say these words with us tonight. So ladies, can you please just help me in saying that I am silent no more? On a count of 3, I want you to unmute your phone, unmute your call. On a count of 3, I want you to say, my name is, bam, and I am silent no more. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
My name is Danielle, and I am silent no more.
Silent no more. All right. So we've just affirmed ourselves. We've just told ourselves something. And I'm not saying that we haven't said it before, but tonight I am challenging you to stand right there. I am silent no more. And you may not be able to tell your story in detail. You may not even want to tell your story in detail. But what I do want to know from the ladies, and anyone at any time can go ahead and jump in. I want to know, what was the feeling of writing this story, your story? What was the feeling of writing your truth? You said my story, my truth. Can I get a couple of ladies to just share with me how it felt? Where did it take you? Did it feel like you had to relive it in order for you to write it? Where did that, what emotion did you have with that?
I can say for me, I definitely had to relive. It was definitely, it basically, once I read everything, it made my heart sink for myself. But I did eventually get to liberation feeling freedom. And you know, I actually, aside from the book, I wrote a couple songs about how I felt as well. So it truly was liberating. I did have moments where I was still a little fearful of what people would say when they read it. But I definitely just prayed to God that I overcome that fear and move forward and be the person that he has, you know, designed me to be.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And you said, you hit the nail on the head. You said become the person that he designed you to be. Because sometimes we forget, or we just set it aside. It's not we forget. It's just hard for us to walk in that thing, right? And so I say thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing that. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know as I read some of the stories, this was a very hard read for me. And I will say that I picked it up, I put it down. I picked it up and I put it down. But every time, well, after the second time of picking it up, after putting it down, I'm sorry, I had to go into a mental space of not taking it personal. Because what I did was every story that I read, I immediately saw my children, right? I saw my children, or I saw myself as a little girl. And so I had to say, okay, what I don't want to do is have the enemy pull me in a place where now I'm operating out of fear, because as a person who is dating a man that's not my husband right now, right? That's not their father. If you begin to put layers on some stuff that is really unnecessary, but it's what the enemy wants you to do. And I said I had to rebuke and refuse bondage as a result of reading a book of women that are getting free. Listen, because see, that's how the enemy works. He tried to reverse that thing. And so as I read one of the truths, something really stood out for me. She said her call to action is to pay attention to these children. Pay attention to the company you keep around them, even if they seem trustworthy and you think you know them. The person said, keep the children talking and let them know it's okay to be scared. As long as the communication is open and honest, please do not silence your child. What an amazing call to action, right? What an amazing call to
Definitely
action.
true every day,
I'm sorry?
Tammy. I said that's definitely true every day. One of my professions, I have a couple, I'm a therapist, and I see parents who don't believe their child as a social worker, and it's sad sometimes because the mother or the father didn't want to believe cousin, sister, brother, boyfriend, wife. I mean, there's women molesting kids, and they don't want to believe it. And your voice should definitely never be silent. And as your parent, your first instinct should be to protect your child and to honor their voice wherever they are.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I agree with that. And I hope that someone out there is listening. I hope that everyone that's listening on this call can actually relate to what you just said, like that they feel that way, that they are able to hear their child and listen to what they're saying and not try to cover up. Or because I know many times, and for me in growing up, I was told, and not in these areas, but in some areas of my growing up, what happens in my house stays in my house, right? And that's just how I was raised. That's what I was raised to believe. You don't go out and tell people what happened here. But there's some things that just doesn't go for, right? Like the things that I read in this book. And it's unfortunate that we as kids, you believe that, or you're scared, or you don't want mommy or daddy to get in trouble, or you're afraid that you're going to be taken away, or the things that they threaten you with, right? So you're absolutely right. And I ask you, when you wrote your truth, what were your thoughts? Where were you emotionally? Were you already healed? Were you in the healing process? Where were you?
Well, for me, I had already started the journey of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And so reading over my story really allowed me to sit with that I was actually a resilient person. Sometimes you get these negative thought patterns that attack you, and you're like, no, I'm not good enough. No, I'm not making progress. No, this, that. You just get in these negative thoughts. And I'm like, how can a woman who achieve graduating high school in spite of ditching 2 years of school to avoid the police to tell the perpetrators issue, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was my fault, so I ditched.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then having neighborhood drama where there's perpetrators throughout the blocks and stuff like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, you got 2 master's degrees, you got a career, you're a therapist, you have a strong voice, a community advocate. How do you second guess yourself? And sometimes I still do. But yet I still go on because I know God had a purpose in my pain. My pain has really turned into my passion. And I love what I do. And I partnered with Venus because she's another one, real trooper for the team. We got to get out there and tell people your pain is not your forever. It's a season.
Yes.
You can push through and move on to your real destiny, and that's where we need to walk people through. Men, women, all the time, they get stuck in their past and they die a painful death regretting. And we don't want people to die with regret.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, you are very resilient, like, as you said. And one thing that the enemy want us to believe or want to do is to hinder us from telling these stories, right? Because he understands the power that comes in freedom. He knows that if, like Venus said, one voice is enough. So he knows that if you, the one person, the one voice, can speak to one other person, that's 2 people. That's possibly getting free to do what they were purposed for. So he does want us to be stuck in our pain. He doesn't want us to go after our purpose. And so I commend you for going after your purpose in spite of, because I know that it wasn't an easy task. To the other ladies, is there anyone else that would like to share their process of writing? Is this your first time writing about your story? Have you written about it before? Did you feel different this time if you have written about it before? Because I understand that as we write, that's a piece of healing. You write it again, it's a piece of healing. So is there anyone that wants to share, anyone that's wrote it before or talked about it publicly before that would like to share how they feel now, today?
I think for me, it took me till the last minute to write my story because I had writer's block and I had a lot of emotions going. I had already started my process of healing. I started that last year, and I'm able to talk about it without busting in tears. And so when I started to write it and I felt a sense of pain, hurt, that I was feeling, knowing that it happened to me, knowing that I went through it. But one of the things that once I got done and wrote it out, it was just like I felt that I was free. I felt that, this is not holding me back anymore. I won't let it hold me back because it's held me back for so many years. And I felt that I was telling people my story and what I was dealing with, but I wasn't healing from it. I still scarredness that was there because I didn't understand how to get through it. And so for me, I just felt that it has really gave me a sense of peace. It has, I could finally let go. I could finally put that in the past and move on to my future and what God has created for me, and not continue to allow my past and things that I've been through, being sexually molested, to hold me anymore. It held me for so long. It held me so bad that it led me into addiction, and I said no more. There will be no more of this holding me back and taking my future away from me. And so I had to fight for what I wanted. And so me fighting for I said, you will not kill me. You will not. And I decided to get up and fight. And me fighting for my life, I'm happy. I'm in a place of happiness. I'm in a place of loving myself and not feeling insecure, feeling scared, not feeling like I'm looking for attention or help. And it's letting go. It's letting go and being able to understand that God has a plan, and he knew exactly what it was. And so I'm going to live out that plan. And I'm truly blessed. I'm definitely blessed on being able to be on something like this. I am a first-time author. I was very nervous, and it has really helped me in a big way.
Awesome. That is just so great to hear. I commend you for, you said it's your first time, and I know, like you said, you had writer's block because it is your first time, and I'm sure those nerve bugs came up, and it's like, okay, people are going to read this story now. Now you don't have any control over who knows, right? You know, many times we want to tell who we want to know, and not just the people in general, because it's more of a controlled condition. Is more, if I tell my sister, you know, I know that she's not going to go and tell this person. If I tell my cousin or my best friend, I know that it's going to stay between us. But when you put it in a book and the world is available to it, like your story has been made available to the world, right? And so I can only imagine that that has to be some scary things going on within you while you're writing it. And you spoke as you were a believer. So I know that as you were writing it, there was doubt. The enemy was telling you not to do it. He was telling you that it's not okay and it's over. You don't have to worry about it. Don't even talk about it. But that's him trying to hold you hostage and hold you in bondage so that you can't get free. See, if you're not free, then you're not able to help another sister or another brother get free, right? And so I say thank you for not listening to that voice, his voice, and your fears, because it's God's voice, your voice, and the enemy, right? And so sometimes we tell ourselves, like, girl, don't do it. Like, you tripping. You know, you about to bring all this attention. Don't do it. We do it to ourselves. So I say, sweetheart, thank you. Let this be one of many, right? Let this be one of many times that you come on a platform and you speak your truth. You are silent no more. So thank you so much. Venus.
Yes.
How do you feel? How do you feel just knowing, like hearing the stories, hearing the things that you've heard thus far? How does that feel, knowing that you have birthed, you have pushed? So you've been pregnant with this thing for Lord knows how. Listen, you've been pregnant with it since your own trauma. Listen, because God knew that you would be the voice to assist, to open up this road. He knew it would be you. So how does it feel to finally give birth to what you've been impregnated with for all of these years?
You know, it's so crazy. I'm trying not to cry. Crap. I want to mess up my makeup. Melanie is my goddaughter, and Melanie is my goddaughter, and I know her journey. And it's a lot more that she's never even told. So I told God, I was like, you know, first of all, let me just tell you this. When he assigned me this, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I do have a habit of telling God what I'm not going to do. You know, because I am his most rebellious daughter, right? And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not about to even try to be doing all that. And then I try to give him every excuse in the book, like every excuse, and I just said, fine, I'm putting it out there. So I hit up my publisher, which is Love Wins, Tanya DeFreitas, and her husband, and I said, this is what God has given me. She said, 100 voices. Well, how we gonna do that? I don't know. That's just what he said I have to do, right? Yeah. And so it's so crazy because as we was putting the project out there, we wasn't really getting a lot of responses. And so Tanya came to me. She said, you know what? I'm thinking that we need to reduce the price, even though we're gonna actually pay for it. Like we had to come out of our pockets a lot of money, you know, to make this project happen. We made absolutely we're in the negative. We're in the negative. But it was so important that this project go out because it had nothing to do with me, it had nothing to do with Tanya, but it had everything to do with millions of lives. And so even when the project went out, like I said, we even dropped the price. We dropped it down to $100, and we still wasn't getting any responses. And I was telling God, see, God, I try to tell you guys, I ain't about to do this. I even emailed Tanya like, no, we're not doing it. Give them the money back, right?
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, no. I'm like, oh my God. And so as soon as I said, you know what, God, you assigned me to this, and you're the one who said I had to do it, right? Next thing I know, boom, 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 boom. Here come the women. Matter of fact, after we closed, there was even more women that was inquiring about it. So I'm like, it's it's already closed. We actually about to go into print.
Yeah.
So just hearing Melanie just speak out like that, y'all have no clue. Y'all have no clue. And I told God, I said, listen, okay, if I can get one person if I can just change one life in all of this, just one, I'm just asking for one, then it's all worth it. Because people don't understand too, this assignment bring on attacks. And right now I'm going through a major one. And I know that this season will pass. It'll pass. But if I had to go back and do it all over again, which we will be doing it again, I'll do it again.
That's good. That's good. I know it has to be a very humbling feeling that you were chosen, right? Yeah. God is not going to choose you to lead something of this magnitude if he does not believe in what he's put in you. He knows what he's put in you. And I just said this earlier today. Sometimes God has to put us in a position to use the things he's put in us so we can know that he put it in us. Like he's telling us, you got this. But we second guess ourselves, because of our experience. We second guess ourselves. We doubt ourselves because we're just not sure. And especially if we know we're doing it, we want to do it unto God. We don't want to disappoint him, and we don't want to let him down. So I'm just like, gosh, I needed to hear how you felt in that moment of just listening to the ladies share. But I want to ask Tanya DeFreitas. She is the author. I mean, she is a co-author, but her publishing company, they published the book. And so Tanya, I want to know from you, because I know I didn't publish the book, but I do have the book, and I did attempt to go through all of the stories, right? I know that you don't do all of the editing. You may do pieces of the editing, but what was that experience like for you as a co-author, but also having to go through all of these stories to make sure that as your company, that it's represented properly? You had to go through these stories. I want to know, where did that put you?
Well, first, let me say it was definitely an honor to be a co-author, to be a part of the project, not to just help Venus birth her vision. And let me say, I read Venus's memoir, A Silent Scream. I read it at the end of January. I read it in 2 days, and I was working full-time and running my company. So that lets you know it drew me in. And when I read her book, it triggered some things in me from my childhood, things that I had not spoken about or shared with other people. I may have shared it with a few close friends, and my husband knew bits and pieces, but what it did was pierce me. And it was a gateway, because the detail of the accounts of what happened in her life, she let it all out. And I read it, and some of it was like, oh my gosh, that happened to me. Or it triggered a memory of, I remember when this happened, and things just started to come about. And so, long story short, her book inspired me to write my own memoir. And so in that book, I told it all. And that kind of trickled into this project. And so I took a portion of that story from my memoir to put in this book to support, but also to share my story of overcoming childhood sexual trauma. But this isn't the first time I've done a project with stories of this nature, this sensitivity nature. Like Venus, God told me years ago that I was going to encounter women from all walks of life, and that I would be used as a catalyst to their journey of healing. I didn't know what it meant. And I started having these series of dreams. And in the dreams, I was watching myself rescue women from prostitution, rescue women from abusive relationships, and it scared me. I'm watching it, but I was afraid. Like, what am I doing? Like, why are you in that house with that big old man who just beat on her? Like, what can you do? You know? So I shared that to say that I believe that that was him equipping me and preparing me for this journey, because Venus's mission, and then the mission that he gave me, hers is silent no more and mine is time to tell. So what we kind of did is decided to merge and blend missions, because they're going in the same direction, but we have people that are assigned to us, right? Different people that are assigned to us, not in competition at all. It's just the same direction, right?
Absolutely.
And so the power in coming together, because the Bible says we're two or more, right? The power of coming together, no competition, nothing of that nature, but just understanding. You got people assigned to you, I got people assigned to me. We got to join forces and we have to do this. And like Venus said, the attacks, oh my God, the attacks. Every project that I did before joining forces with her, I saw the attacks. I experienced the attacks. My finances, my marriage, my children, my son almost died twice.
Wow.
Time a book was being birthed. I'm not even going into detail like Venus. I'm going through hell right now. Not gonna go into details. Up until the book was released, right before the book was released, it's like all hell breaks loose, and it's because I'm a believer. That's known, right? The enemy starts kicking and screaming and throwing a tantrum. He doesn't want the stories to get out. He doesn't want us to be healed. He doesn't want us to be liberated and anybody attached to us, because for each woman on this platform and in this book, there are women assigned to you. There are women assigned to all of us. And until we get it out, their deliverance, their freedom is not going to come. So it was a challenge. Reading each story, I couldn't read them all in one day. And Venus didn't read them until it was published. So this was me and the editor, one story at a time. And having to back up, pray, fast, just really process. I mean, and the tears were real, because it's not a horror movie. It's not a movie. This is real life. And so these things that happened to these women happened, you know? And so to read not just my own trauma, but to read what they went through, it was challenging. But God, he already prepared me. He already prepared her. And like you said, when it happened with us, that's when the conception, that's when the seed was planted. And he knew that we could carry it through to birth it. So again, it was heavy, but we did it. We made it to the finish line. And like Venus, when I look at the faces of these women and the ones who can be with us tonight, and when I hear their excitement of I'm free, like it's easy. Once you get it out, that's it. Like even for me, when I released my memoir, I think I called Venus, but I remember once it went live, I was like, wait a minute, what did I just do? Because like you said, now the world, right? The world has access to all my business.
Absolutely.
But I understand that purpose, that's connected to purpose. My business needs to be told so somebody else can see and know they can overcome, and they have purpose too. So it gets real deep, but ultimately, like I said, it was a lot. It wasn't easy. And I don't know if other people understand the attacks that come with carrying your own cross. And for every assignment, for every purpose, there's a cross to carry. And I mean, to get the oil, you got to be pressed, baby. You got to be broken. You got to be pressed. No pressure, no diamond. Diamonds are created from pressure. If you don't have that pressure and that pressing and that breaking, you're not going to shine forth. And so there was a lot of pressing for all of us, but we made it, and we did it together. We walked through this together. There were ladies that called Venus, they called me. We had one-on-one text sessions, phone calls, prayer to get through it, because it's not easy, but we did it, and we're silent no more.
That's good. That's good. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. You mentioned attack, and I'm like, boy, oh boy, I know that very well. When you are under attack, when you're going through, or when you're about to birth something as great and big as this, and there may be some women that were a part of the project that didn't, it may be clicking now, but didn't really understand. They didn't attach the attack to this process. They didn't attach the attack to this journey, right? And so I hope that everything that you just said made sense to the ladies that were a part of this project, and even to those that are connected to them, those that are assigned to them. They are going to feel the attack as well. And hear me when I say this, the attack only comes when there is some type of intimidation, right? The attack is only coming from the enemy. Let's say that. The attack is only coming from the enemy when there's some type of intimidation. He knows what the goal is in this. He knows what the mission is. He knows what the vision is better than most of us, right? He knows what can happen on the other side of it actually being produced. And so he has done and will continue to do everything that he can to stop you right where you are, right? If he can get you to stop and stay and stick and stay where you're at, he's like, okay, cool, I got it. But if he see you continuously moving and growing and helping others and reaching out and saying, no, I am silent no more, his job is he's doing his job, right? And so I just challenge you and ask you all, ladies, to continue to do your job, continue to do the growth, continue to make those text messages, continue to reach out. Just because the project has ended, the writing portion of it, it doesn't mean that the sisterhood and the connection has ended. So I'm certain, because I know Tanya and Venus personally, I'm certain that their doors are wide open for you guys, for you ladies, to continue to call, to continue to text and pray and cry and ask questions so that you can move forward in what it is that you're doing. Thank you so much again, Tanya. Now I'm about to do something that the Holy Spirit just gave me, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it, and I just want you to be ready. It's nothing crazy, but I don't know. Let's just see. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my mask on. And I want iPhone Portia. Portia. Hey, Portia. How are you? Unmute yourself.
There you go. Hi.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Portia. Listen.
Yes.
I am you. There is a mirror. There is a mirror in front of you. Mm-hmm. I am you at the age that you experienced what you experienced. I am masked up, and I need you to talk to me, to tell me to remove the mask, to be silent no more. So as the adult Portia,
right,
what you gonna tell me?
I'm gonna tell you that, you know what, it's okay to be to share your story, because in the future there are going to be people that are going to benefit from it. So it's okay for you to you know, just hold on, because help is on the way, and also there is deliverance on the way for other people. So just hold on, because you know, in about 20 years, I hate to say it, but you're going to find out exactly why you went through this, and, you know, why your story is in a book, and that it needs to be told, because there's people assigned to you that you don't even know. And sometimes it be the thing that leads to the thing that be the thing. So, you know, life is like this. So, you know, sometimes but it's always the thing that leads to the thing that be the thing. So
I got it. So here I am, unmasked.
Right?
I chose to say, I will remove my mask. I chose to say that I am silent no more. I know what happened. I know my location, and I choose to moving forward from this day forward, right? The thing, as you said, the thing that revealed the thing has happened, right? I cannot remove what happened back in the past. The only thing that I can do is build on where I'm at today. I choose to reach my hand out to another lady who have possibly gone through the same thing and pull her up and not tear her down. That is what I choose to do as the adult Portia. So Portia, thank you for playing this. It's not even a game, but thank you for being okay with doing that. I know that probably wasn't the easiest thing, but I want us to understand that sometimes we have to talk to the little girl in us to say, hey, come on, it's gonna be okay.
Yes.
You know, when we look in the mirror, sometimes we see the adult person. We see the adult person. We put the makeup on. We put the eyeliner on. We do our hair. We do all of these things that says, I am an adult. But the inside of us is saying there's still this little girl that's inside that is hurting and she needs to get out. And so that was just my goal for doing that little activity real quick, just so that I can, not only for you, but with the other ladies that are on this call, I want you to know that you have the power to speak to you, the you that once was. You have the power to say, get free. You have the power to say, I will no more. I will be silent no more. I will tell my story, right? And you have the power to say, one day at a time. One day at a time. Today it may hurt like hell, but tomorrow I'm going to be a little better, and the following day a little better. And as Venus said, it just feels amazing to know that she helped one person. Ladies, you are helping me, okay? So I have a story to share. As a kid, I went through some trauma as well, right? But sometimes we put a muzzle on it and we don't want to talk about it, and we're free and we're healed and we're good, right? Well, I had some trauma that happened to me that I didn't tell but a few people, because like another one of the ladies said, I'm resilient. I just push through these things. But when you hear other people talk about their story, there's some triggers. There's some things that remind you of what happened, right? And although I've dealt with it with God, it's still okay to talk about sometimes. So I was sexually touched by a boy, and I blamed myself because I wasn't supposed to be there. I was supposed to be at home, right? I was supposed to be at home with my friend because her mom said, don't come outside until I get home from work. Well, we being who we were, we left and we went over there and things happened, right? And because I blamed myself, I decided not to say anything to anyone until I was about 22, 23, but I was 13 when it happened, right? And so I want you to know that this is just triggering some things, and not only me, but other people that are on this call, the viewers that have said, I'm going to go to the grave with it. Y'all know we have heard that before. I'm going to the grave with this one, because we are, sometimes we're embarrassed. We blame ourselves. If I wouldn't have done this, then this wouldn't have happened. It's never okay. I don't care if you were disobedient to your parent, as I was disobedient and went somewhere that I wasn't supposed to be. It still doesn't give anyone right to violate you at all. So I say to all of you ladies,
let me tell you, sometimes you can do it with you and just got prayer, but sometimes you need a coach like Venus or a therapist like me. There's no man is an island. And we all need a team player. Sometimes you can tell your sister cousin. Sometimes you can't because you're not strong enough. Right. So you have coaches like Venus, you have therapists like myself, and other women, and especially in people of color, we just deny the whole thing existed. We need to emphasize, and you tell the next generation to deny themselves, which is probably part of our trauma history from slavery. We're overcoming trauma. We're overcoming that trauma from our slavery, from Jim Crow, from the killings that were just this year of many African Americans. And we're going to overcome, we're going to strengthen our families because of COVID. There's domestic violence happening every day because you realize you're with the wrong person, but you're not alone. There's coaches, there's therapists, and other professionals, whether it's your pastor, someone's there to listen to you, and you're not alone.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly, completely. And you're absolutely right. There's so much going on still today. And it's just the result of things that have happened. And we allow it to just continue to happen. Generational curses, as we say. And we don't talk about it. That's the problem. We're not talking about it. We have to begin to expose those things that, we're uncomfortable with, those things that are just not okay, right? Because what it does is smother who you were really designed and created to be. And then here we are 40 and 50 years old trying to backpedal and become who God originally designed us to be. But I'll say this, it's not too late. To anyone that's listening, it's never too late. I don't care if you're 70 years old and if you're still breathing, it's not too late. As you just said, there are great coaches out there, therapists that are out there. There are your pastor or people that you can trust, right? And God will send you someone. He's not going to set you up. He will send you someone that you can share your story with, that is going to help you get free, that is going to help you being happy, healthy, and whole. He is going to do that. It's just what he does, right? And so I know a lot of us don't believe in therapists. I mean, I do, but there's a lot of people of color, that do not believe in therapists. I'm not telling my business to somebody. What can she tell me, or what can he tell me? How can he help me? He's human like me. You know, all of these things that we have been told or lied about, right? But I recommend that we get professional help, right? You can talk to your cousin, you can talk to your mom, your dad, but we need some professional help. We need some people that are going to be able to go in there and dig deep, get to the root of things. I always ask, what's the issue, when the issue is not the issue, right? We see things for surface, but it's something so much deeper than that many of us are not trained to do. And sometimes are not, some of us aren't trained to do it. Some of us, God has just put that in us. It's just innate. It's something that he has blessed us to be able to do. So thank you for sharing that so much.
Tam,
yes,
I want to speak to what you said because it's a trigger for me. And so thank you for your transparency tonight and sharing about your own trauma. We're going to talk about that later because, you know, we got book projects coming up. So we're going to get you to write about that, okay? That's one of the programs that God has given me, is a Right to Heal program. And so what I want to share is that there is a soft and gentle way to do it. Yes, therapy is necessary. I believe it. I'm a proponent of it. Wasn't until I had it. And once I got it, I was like, I don't want to stop. And I have therapy for the rest of my life. Can we talk every week? Anyway. And so with the Right to Heal, the purpose of projects like this, there's a layer of protection where you can get your story out. Nobody has to know it's your story. And so what happens is you have the release, it's a safe release. And once the release takes place, then you position yourself to be ready to accept the therapy, the counseling, or to tell whomever you're prompted to tell. But what I wanted to speak to was when you talked about feeling like it was your fault. I was raped when I was 12, and I was raped again when I was 14, both times by guys that I knew, older guys. I was sexually abused as an adult woman with children by a family member, okay? And I had someone tell me that it was my fault each time. I was hot-tailed and fast, that's why I was raped. As an adult, you're disgusting. How you let another man as an adult sexually abuse you? Okay, and let me say, first of all, I'm free from that. That don't bother me no more. And going to therapy, anybody in a mind to understand psychologically what happens when you are abused as a child can understand that once those fences and those boundaries have been blown out the way, you didn't let them fall. They were blown out. It's like a bulldozer came and ruined them. You have to relearn how to build them. And so what happens once they've been ruined, some of the same patterns happen. We choose unhealthy relationships. We allow abusive people, not just opposite sex, but even friendships, employers in our lives, because we have been traumatized, and it's like being seared. You don't know how to connect. You don't know how to block. You don't know how to protect. But I had to go to therapy to understand that, because when this person told me that it was my fault, I started doubting myself. Like, I did let the boy in the house when my mama wasn't there, but that didn't give him a right to do what he did. Even with the adult family member, I trusted this adult family member. And so having been traumatized as a child, you tap out, you blank out psychologically to protect yourself. You literally disassociate from what's happening. And so I want to speak to anyone who's watching, and even anyone here that may still be struggling with, it was my fault. It's never your fault when it's abuse. I don't care if you walked in butt naked. If you said no and he continued or she continued, it's not your fault. Abuse thrives in silence. And so when we don't expose it, it continues. And that has to do with childhood abuse as well. We're still traumatized by it. We're still impacted by it when we're silent about it. And so the silent no more and the time to tell movements, the purpose of them is because the secrets are like cancer. You hold it in, that sickness, that shame, that guilt, whatever it is, begins to fester and it bleeds into every area of your life invisibly. You don't even know that it's affecting you on your job. You don't even know that it's affecting you as a parent. You telling the kids, no, they can't have no apple juice, and you don't even know why you tell them why they can't have no apple juice. Like you're saying no to things, you don't even have a reason. Like you have these behaviors and these patterns and these ways about you, and you don't know that they stem from the trauma. And when you have trauma on trauma on trauma, because that's what happens, it's a pattern. And so again, I want to speak to the person who thinks that it's your fault. If someone violated you, especially as a child, let me say that, especially as a child, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And if you want to talk about it more, we can talk offline. You can talk to me or Venus, because it's not your fault, period. Even as an adult, if you were abused or got into an abusive relationship, there's a reason. And we got to get to the root, and we got to dig that stuff up so that God's healing can fill that hole and fill all those gaps and all those voids so that it stops. But until we get to the root, it won't stop. But I just want to address, it's not your fault. And if you were blamed for it, I was blamed for it, but I'm healed. And I thank God for his healing power, that the words of the people that said it was my fault, they don't burn, they don't hurt no more. And I'm silent, I'm going to tell it, and I'm going to continue to tell it.
Absolutely.
It's not your fault.
Absolutely.
Your fault.
Thank you for sharing that, because that is so important that, you know, we know that, we understand that, we walk in that, and that's why I mentioned it. It's not your fault, because we will blame ourselves until we get free, until we are healed. You know, you may still hold on to a little bit of that, but before I release it over to Venus, I want one main thing that I want to leave you ladies with is knowing the importance of forgiving. Okay? It's extremely important for us to forgive our perpetrators, the people that did these horrible things to us. It's so important for us to forgive them. It's not about them. Many times we are against forgiving because we believe that it's going to make them feel like it's okay that they did what they did. But no, that's not the case. The purpose behind forgiving is to release you from all of that bondage. And that is where it starts. That's where your healing begins. Your healing begins with saying, you know what? I forgive whoever it was that did it. That is where healing begins. Until then, you will continue to be behind that door, wanting to go to the other side, right? But you cannot. So not forgiving is a very heavy weight, right? The Bible says that we are to lay aside every weight that so easily beset us. That's an easy weight, right? Sometimes we still see that person. And so when I see him or when I see her, it's a trigger. It's hard for me to forgive. And that is the work that has to be done with you as the individual and God, not you and that person. You may never be able to forgive that person as a result of the conversation because he or she may blame you, or he or she may not see it the way that you see it, right? Their view of it, their point of view of it may be something completely different than how you view it. And so I say forgiveness is for you, and that is where it has to start. That is the key to moving forward in being silent no more, ladies. I want to say thank you all once again
Ms.
for
Johnson,
allowing
can
me.
I also say, as far as the point that you're making, yes, you have to forgive your perpetrator, but when there's other people involved, you know, when it comes to like families and stuff like that, you know, you get raped by an uncle, you get raped by a grandparent or whatever, but you have to forgive those people who were in the vicinity of the situation as well. So you have to pray for all of that, because all of that is the hardest thing. You know, I've learned that going through my journey and all of that, like Tanya said, you don't know how to protect yourself. You don't know how to do certain things. And I had to learn that standing up for myself was the hardest thing I ever had to do. You start, falling into toxic situations and relationships that are no good for you, and you have to learn to love yourself and what you're willing to accept and not accept and all of that. So you definitely have to forgive the people who surround the situation as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And also forgive yourself, because sometimes we will beat ourselves up because I didn't say anything when it first happened, and why did I wait so long, and oh my God, it could have been one time, but it was 7 times because I didn't say anything. So you also have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive anyone that you remotely think have some type of attachment to that trauma. Forgive, forgive, forgive. That is the key. That is the key. The only way to get for that door to open, right? And not the door open and you get to the other side, because there's work that has to be done in order for you to process to get on the other side of that door. That is just having the key to unlock so that you can see what's on the other side of that door, right? And once you see what's on the other side of that door, I'm praying and I'm hoping that you are encouraged enough to do the work that it's going to take. Write your story, remove the mask, silent no more. All of these things are going to be a part of the work and the journey that is going to take, that will help you get to the other side of the door. So again, I say, before I give it to Venus, I say thank you, ladies, so much for allowing me to be in your business for a little bit, for an hour. I appreciate you. I love you. God's love to you. If there's anything that I can do, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Again, my name is Tamara Johnson. I am the creator of Make It Rise. I'll put my information in the chat. And I'm available for whatever it is that you need my assistance with, that God has given me to give you. Thank you once again, ladies. Venus, it's on you.
Tam, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know what? Listen, ladies. First of all, let me just go here before I finish off. We have a special song, and it is written by one of the authors in our book, and that is Miss Shawnee. Well, you guys will see her as Danielle Withers, but her stage name is Shawnee Ephraim, and this song is very special. I begged for this song, child. So I want you guys to take a listen.
I'm finally free, 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 free. I was trapped in my own mind, trapped in my thoughts. I just wanna be free. How much does it cost? I was caught up in a self-made chain. All the emotions that I got keep causing stress to my brain. My innocence was stolen, always felt less. And I know in my work I couldn't expect the best. I was saving everybody else, I couldn't protect. Saving everybody else, but some I couldn't protect. Not knowing my worth, I couldn't love myself. I was dying inside, it was detrimental to my health. Yes, I wasn't happy, things went sour. I gave up everything, that's my voice and my power. It's okay to express yourself, and it's okay to demand respect for self, cause everybody else trying to benefit self. Speak your truth, cause everybody's watching you. Live the testimony, the assignment's waiting on you to pray and break them through, cause everything you go through ain't even meant for you. Bring them too, so they can break loose from the chains, cause they need freedom too. It's a long time coming, I admit this truth. There are times I just wanna be through. It's a long time coming, I admit this truth, but can't nothing stop me now, cause I'm fighting too.
Oh.
I'm finally free, 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 free. Come and get your freedom. Step into your freedom. Walk into your freedom. Come and get your freedom. Come and get your freedom. Step into your freedom. Finally walk into your freedom. Come and get your freedom.
Johnny, tell everybody where can they go and download your music?
All my music is on Apple Music, it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon Music, Google Music, all of it. It's everywhere. The name is Shawnee Ephraim. YouTube, if you want to, you can contact me and I'll hit you up with links and all of that. So yeah.
And how do you spell Shawnee Ephraim?
SHAUNI space F as in Frank apostrophe EM.
Thank you, boo. Thank you. You guys
don't forget the giveaways.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So I don't know if anybody have any giveaways. I don't know. And I didn't see that anybody actually shared the video, the live. So I have a number, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll text it to Tanya really quick. Anybody who picks that number between 1 and 10, the first person will get a copy of my book, signed copy of my book. And then this is what I'm going to tell you guys too. You guys, I will not be putting my personal link in on this live, because this is not about me. This is about all the people that was a part of this project, and it's about them. Okay, so I'm gonna text Tanya really quick and then tell her what the number is. And then I want you guys to put a number in there between 1 and 10, and whoever gets it first will be the one who get a copy of my book. First person. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. No for her.
That's not fair.
But I think she has Shawnee's book. I think she has.
Who is she? Who is she?
Well, maybe she can get another. She can get a. I don't know.
Who is she? I can tell you if she got it or not.
All right.
So the number, can I tell them the number?
Yeah, the number.
The number is 10.
Yes.
And somebody hit it right on the nose.
Right. I know. I was like, what? Do Sanika have your book, Shawnee?
I don't know yet. She planned on getting it, but okay.
Well, she participated like she wanted to
right.
Right. You can bless somebody else with it.
Right. Sanika, do you have a silent screen? Do you have a silent screen? My Story, My Truth?
She sure does. Because I tried to steal it from her.
This girl. Okay. So I don't know. Tanya, what's the second giveaway you have?
I'll give another copy of the book, or did we want to do one of the, because we got Brutal Courage, we got Pretty Sad, we got multiple books that talk about this same thing.
Right.
So I don't know. You tell me. Which one you give away? I'll give away whatever you tell me.
Okay. Sanika said, oh yeah, me. Okay, Sanika. Okay. Well, Sanika won that. So let's do Brutal Courage, your title.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you want to do? Do a number pull?
I think I want to go back and look at the comments and see.
Okay.
So then I'll have to post to see who won. I want to see who was most engaging.
Me
who
too.
Was commenting and
me too.
And asking questions. And so whoever was most engaging, I'm literally going to count, and then I'll post under the live who the winner is. And if it's a tie, then I'll just do 2 copies.
Okay, cool.
And so whoever it is, I'll tag your name, and you'll have to inbox inbox me your mailing address so that we can ship Brutal Courage to you. Brutal Courage Venus is also in this book. I was gonna say Tam gonna be in the book. She's not in this one, but she gonna be, especially now. But Brutal Courage is a part of the Time to Tell movement. It's in the same ring and arena as Silent No More. There are 12 women, 12 journeys of overcoming traumatic experiences. So it's not so much childhood trauma, but from one end of the spectrum to the other. So we're giving away, I'm gonna give away 2 copies. I'll just look at the comments and then let you guys know who was most engaging, and we'll ship 2 copies out.
Yay.
Yay.
Is there any other authors that want to do a giveaway? Any other authors? You don't have to, okay? So, all right. Oh, I can't. Let's see. Portia? Portia?
Venus.
Yeah.
I can when she finished mine.
Okay. Too crazy. What about Portia? She have her phone unmuted.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it, but yeah, I can give a book away.
Yeah, we'll walk you through it. We'll walk. Okay. What you gotta tell me what you want them to do. Pick a number, the personal lie. I mean,
I guess, can they all follow me at dreamtalks.com?
However you want to do it. So
yeah.
Follow her. Put it in the. This is what you do when we get off. Go back. Put it in the chat and say, hey, I'm about to do a raffle or whatever. If you follow me here, I'll take your name, put it in, mix it up, and then and then you can inbox them, DM them. Okay. So Miss Portia is going to be giving away a book too. Yes. So listen, ladies.
Lisa could give out one of her Silent No More. I know you talking about your new book, but we still working on that. But you have Silent No More with your name on it.
I can give out that one too. Yes.
Okay, Lisa. Okay. So what do you want to do, Lisa? Do you want to do a number pool? How you want to do this?
The second most engaging person.
Oh, the second. So that'll be Tanya. Tanya, look into that, and she'll DM you the person. Okay. And that way you can contact them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, ladies. Do anybody have any final comments, questions, any exciting news, anything you want to share to the viewers? Any last minute? Go ahead, Tanya. Go ahead, Bookie.
So tomorrow, you guys are getting this early because it's supposed to release tomorrow. So Brutal Courage, the remix. We are rounding up. It's a co-ed edition of men and women telling their stories, similar mission of overcoming. So I know some of you only told a portion of your story. Those who are watching or will catch the replay, if you are at a place where you are ready to tell your story, Brutal Courage Remix Edition, we're rounding up in the month of December. The book is going to release sometime in March, and we are accepting men and women for this project. And my company is sponsoring it, so there's no submission fee. The only catch to that is every story may not be accepted, and I'll deal with everyone one-on-one with that. And when I say that, it's because some writers need some help, some support in writing their story. And so if it's too much for us to help develop your story, we'll work with you one-on-one, and you may not be a part of this book, but have to be a part of a future one because we're sponsoring it and editing costs. So we've got to kind of limit how much work will be required to put this thing together and get it out in the time frame that we have. So men and women who are ready to tell their story, Brutal Courage Remix Edition. Just comment, hit Venus up or hit me up, because what we'll do if there's an overflow or if you miss our closing date, which will be December 31st, Venus is going to be doing another Silent No More. So you got time to think, you got time to pray, you got time to consider, because we're rolling out these projects because we got to get these stories out.
Yes.
Awesome. And Venus, my book, Surviving the Chaos, was with the publisher, Tanya at Love With. So
yes!
We will be updating soon.
Yes.
Coming out in December. It's coming out in December.
Yes.
This is amazing. Listen, y'all. Listen, let me just tell y'all this. Y'all have no clue what this do to my heart. Like, y'all have no clue. Y'all have no clue. Like, one person connected all of this? Like, really? Really? I did what God told me to do, even though I was telling him I wasn't gonna do it. I did it. And I even though I did question how, it wasn't me who made it happen. Y'all made it happen. Because you didn't have to tell your story, whether it's under protection or not. You did not have to tell your story. You did not have to be a part of this. You did not. You could have said, no, I'm not ready for that. I don't want to do that, whatever the case may be. But it was somewhere in your heart where you understood that this mission is pertinent. And it's even more pertinent right now during COVID, when these kids are at home and not at school and don't have nobody to run to and say, this is happening to me, right? Listen, educate people. Tell them to be nosy. Listen, I don't have no problem being nosy. Be nosy. If you suspect something, honey, tell somebody. I will. Now I ain't gonna say
1-800-540-4000.
Right.
1-800-540-4000.
Right.
That's to protect the children in Los Angeles County.
Come on now.
1-800-540-4000.
Yes.
Protect these babies.
Protect
Elder
them.
abuse also has a hotline. I just don't know about heart.
Right. I would rather look stupid and foolish and have a child protected than not say nothing and the child is being left unprotected. Speak up, because these things affect us for the rest of our lives. Even though, okay, yes, I'm healed from this, but I still have residual. You know, every now and again, it comes. Thank God I now have the tools. I have coaches. I have a therapist, you know, and so therefore, I'm not gonna say it's easier for me, but I have the tools. I have a toolbox. And that's what you need to get together to develop, right? And going back to what Tam said, I think it was Tam who was saying that some people feel like, oh, I don't need a coach. I can watch YouTube. Yeah, you might, but I put this question out a couple weeks ago. If you can just watch YouTube and make it happen, then an NFL player should be able to just watch YouTube and win the Super Bowl. Correct? So you need somebody there that will coach you and guide you through. And remember, at the end of it all, it is not your fault and you're not alone. So I just want to thank every one of you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful women. You guys are forever in my heart. I already told Shani, she my daughter, honey. She don't have no choice in that.
Man, I'll be like, whoa. But look, let me tell y'all what the game changer was for me. So I went back and forth with, I had already signed the proposal and all of that, said I was gonna do it. The game changer for me was I was with my friends and it was prophesied to me that I was gonna be on this lonely road by myself, and that I was coming to this door, and that the person pretty much begged me in tears to stay on task because I had many women who were waiting for me to get there. And I was like, ooh, that's heavy. I don't want that. No, take that back. And then I had a really close friend who I consider my sister. And she said, and how about when you get there, the key is gold because your faith has already been tested. Right. And that was the moment that I made up in my mind. And we talk about growth and all of those things. When God gives out the assignment, Satan is trying to manipulate you or, deter you off the task. Yes. Because when you make the effort to grow and so forth, those are the things that you're committing to God. Yes. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't want you to commit to God. He wants to have you remain committed to him. Yes. Yeah. And his job is to steal, kill, and destroy, and go ahead and bring you to the lake of fire, which is where he gonna be at. Yeah. But yeah. I had to make up in my mind to continue to keep my commitment to God. Yes. Yeah. And I'm proud of you. I know how hard it was for you. I know. Well, of course, we share private groups, so some of these things are like they go in there and they're like, I'm scared. And the one thing I always said is that you don't have to
what is it, Tanya, that I always tell people?
You don't need permission to tell your story.
What I tell you to do, just do what? Put them on notice.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And remember mine, if they wanted a different role in your book or part in your book, they should have played a different part in your life. So if they don't want to be, if they didn't want to be the bad guy, they shouldn't have been the bad guy. If they don't want people to know what you did, you shouldn't have did it.
Yes. Because let me tell you something, even though that person failed us, right? I've done things to fail my children. So when it comes to my children telling their story, I will never stand in their way.
Mm-hmm.
I actually tell it for them, but I mean, you know, I will never stand in their way because they have a right to tell their story. And remember that you have every right. And telling your story and being truthful, speaking up, speaking out is going to piss people off. But those who love you, who honor you, who respect you, they might be mad for a moment, but they'll be back.
Yep.
They'll be back. So guys, listen, we're about to get off this, girl, because we'll be on here for hours, okay? But I just want to, again, thank everybody for just coming in and sharing, you know, about your experience, about writing a book. I just want to give all the thanks to Tam for, you know, hosting this book launch. You are so amazing. I just love you to death. You already know that. Tanya, love wins. You and your husband did that. And I mean, I just love y'all. You guys do amazing work. And my next two projects, well, few projects, God, we got a few projects that's coming out. You know, I already know it's going to be #1 bestseller. Okay. So you guys have the best evening ever. Remember, I love you. You guys follow Shawnee Ephraim on YouTube. Y'all download her music. That song, well, it's mine, but you guys,
it's actually like a 3-part because, you know, I got Innocence Part 1, Part 2, and then finally Free. So you got those songs to listen to kind of like a storyline.
Yes, it's on YouTube, but I would rather for you to go and download it. It's only what, like 99 cents, something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Download it and support your sister, okay? All right, ladies, we're out of here. I love you. Don't forget to go back, put all your information in the news feed, okay? Put all your information in the news feed. Make sure people know how to follow you, how to grab your book off of Amazon. I will not be putting my link because I want for people to make sure they come and they support you guys, okay?
Yes.
All right, I love you guys. Good night.
Love you, mama. Bye.
One more thing before I close out. I forget, this is our last coffee chat on Monday nights. Okay, so yeah, okay, so we will actually be starting December 5th. We'll be starting first and third Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so I'll be continuing to put that message out there. Okay, so good night, everybody. I love y'all.
Good night. Love you. Bye, ladies.
Bye.